We are back.
Working through the kinks this morning. Crazy. Have a total enjoyable time off. Great to be back this morning. But we do start on a somber note.
Welcome back to the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Good morning to everybody rolling in. Eddie Dykes, Jonathan Aarons, Chris White. Happy New Year to everybody. But yeah, I mean, impossible not to talk about what happened last night in the NFL. Monday Night Football game. February, I think, is American Heart Awareness Month or whatever, and it's coming up. But a guy had cardiac arrest. I mean, a guy makes a routine play, stands up, and boom, drops like a sack of potatoes, and you just saw everything stop. Time stopped, the game stopped. Everybody was like, whoa, and just a crazy, crazy experience. Something that I don't think the NFL has ever dealt with in the history, in the modern history of the game. I'm sure there were some crazy things that happened early on, but to have to stop the game, have somebody have, CPR done to them on the field. They did resuscitate him, got him to, Cincinnati's, medical facility there, placed him in critical condition, and just really, really sad and postponed the game, which was the right thing to do, and just crazy.
So it's going to be a good year. Good morning, Eddie Dykes. It's going to be a good year. This is Howard Grooverman is here this morning, starting the year. Incredible. I got to thinking. I was talking to Jake this morning about the precedent of somebody collapsing or dying on the field. It did happen in basketball. It happened with a guy named Hank Gathers.
Sure.
It happened again with Len Bias.
Len Bias. That's what I was thinking.
The precedent of, and I thought Ryan Clark was just so amazingly real and emotional, just talking about, the fact that, you go out there and you play this game, but you give up your life and your body knowing that at any one moment,
anything could happen.
And it's just, I watched it happen to you a little bit. I watched it happen to Jake a ton, playing quarterback, but I can't imagine being that guy's mother. I mean, it just stuck with me a whole night.
And the teammates, like to be in that game and then have that happen and to have your mind be anywhere else, and I think that's the big conversation is like, look, like it's not like basketball where there's 3 other games that are getting played this week. Like the NFL, you're 1 game a week, and this happens to be the second to last week of the season. There's a lot happening in that game that affect other teams, but it was amazing to see the outpouring of support from like guys that are on the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs are watching that game going, where are we going to get slotted? Whoever wins or loses this game affects our reality of our future, which is our profession. And everybody put that on the back burner and said, whoa, this is a game. This, the game will go on. Life is more important than the game. Let's all focus on DeMar right now and make sure that like he's got a chance, to be the focus and the have our prayers shared with him and his family, because that's life. And there's nothing more important than life.
I did a video just before the end of the year where I said to people, oh, wow, it's New Year's Eve and tomorrow's a new year and everybody's celebrating a new year. What happens if you did that every day? What happens if you set off fireworks every day and say, wow, you know what? I get to do another one of these. I get to do it, share it, know it, feel it, all of that kind of stuff. So it rang especially true to me last night because at any given moment, it gets taken away.
That was my post, the fragility of life, right? And if you woke up this morning and you were looking for like a little extra push to get back to what you needed to do, or to be excited about the opportunity that you have today, or to give a little bit of extra effort, just realize, like, just like that, like cardiac arrest, I'm sure that there were no kind of pre-qualifiers that would have, give him any warning signs to that. The guy is an elite athlete. He plays the game at the highest level possible, and a routine tackle, and boom, unbelievable. So
just the timing, all of that stuff. So, as hard as it is to do, we got to move on. Those players are supportive. We'll be praying. Huddle prayers work. So, put DeMar in your prayers. The talk is he was one of the nicer guys, if you will. What's amazing is the power of social media. He had a cause to buy toys for kids.
He had a toy drive going on. That was like, the goal was like $150,000 raised or something.
Overnight, he raised $3 million.
$3 million.
It's just
unbelievable.
Insane. So as hard as it is to move on, we will. I had an unbelievable 2 weeks. I work all year to get those 2 weeks to spend time with friends and family and myself, reinvested myself. I know you did the same. Why don't you share what your 2 weeks were like?
It was amazing. It was the week leading up to Christmas, which was an incredible event. We got to roast the pig and, have the whole family over. We had 21 people at the house, which was really great. Just big tables, big food. And then Kai came in right after Christmas. He landed on the 27th, and it might have been my favorite time that I've ever had with him. Just a lot of really quality one-on-one time with him. Jake and I took him to the Museum for Discovery and Science, which was incredible. So I posted about it, and the CEO reached out to me after that, was like, so glad that you had a great visit there. But really, I can't promote it enough. As soon as Jules is old enough to really enjoy that place, I'm getting a membership there, because Kai was just amazed for hours while we were there. And it was fun for me. I enjoyed being there. And, it challenges your brain. I think the biggest thing I loved were the signs that were around the building. As soon as you walk in, there's this big playpen, and what's happening there? But the Curiosity Clubhouse is happening there. So I'm like, we grow up as adults. We forget about these things that are so important to us, but there's a major reminder for it. Curiosity Clubhouse. Are you in the Curiosity Clubhouse?
Got me in. In our meeting yesterday, which we greased the wheels yesterday and got together and sort of did our, let's jump back.
Kickoff, baby. It was a kickoff.
You talked about an organization to get involved in. That's a good one. I'd reach back out to Joe and say, hey, I'm intrigued by this.
Him and I are on the calendar to get together in the next 2 weeks.
Let's see where I can play a role. So for me, it was the same kind of thing. If you can see, we celebrated as a team at Joe's, which is phenomenal. I got to see my dad. I got to spend time with Jerry Latrento. We get busy and we don't normally have the time to do that. Just he and I went out for dinner, spent time with you and the boys. Taking Kai to his first hockey game was amazing. Yeah. So my cup is full. Spent quality time with Helen, rang in the new year, and I can promise you, I am ready to kick some ass in 2023. So we have a new lineup coming up. So Shay, show me the new lineup. So obviously on Mondays, we will continue with Lori as co-host. Those shows get great reviews, get great people, get great viewers, if you will. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you and I will do it solo. Wednesday, we will add Jake to the mix. So it's a regular time for Jake to shine in. And Jake will be embarking on his speaking career during the holidays. He had a chance to go speak to his old high school. They loved him, and he'll be bringing some great insight. And then the funnest thing of all, Mark, tell us what Fridays look like.
Every Friday, we are going to have the Huddler Hot Seat segment where we can bring in somebody from the audience, somebody from the Huddle community. We can bring them on. We had that segment between you and I where we fired each other 10 or 12, poignant questions and some great questions. So excited to be able to every week reach out to a Huddler, grab somebody to come in on a Friday and share a conversation with us. So we are dedicated to continuing to evolve the content, continuing to evolve the strategy. So we'll have Lori on Mondays, Jake on Wednesdays, a huddler on Fridays, and Tuesdays and Thursdays will always be your staple of my day.
If you want to be the huddler in the hot seat,
don't hesitate to reach out. No guarantee that you get on, but if you have interest, we would love to hear from you.
So absolutely, because this Friday, which is only 4 days from today, man,
we got to get somebody.
Let's rock and roll. So no huddle can start without waking up.
Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up. Come on, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on.
I'm already breaking precedent, and I'm nominating Jay Katari.
As soon as I saw his name, I was like, that would be a great person to have.
He's
for
on
Friday.
Jay, if you can make it.
Hey, you're here this morning. I think you've already been put into that slot. So let us know if you can make it, but we would love to have you here on Friday to be in the hot seat.
And shout out to Shay for being the backbone to all of this, helping create the new lineup, create the new look. We're back with a new set, which is
I love it. The on-air sign up top, it looks fantastic.
We are on the air. So as is traditional with me for every new year, we pick a word. Last year, my word was, my phrase was just another day in paradise, which, thank you. It was a fucking awesome year. It really was, man. I only hope to duplicate it. And the only way to duplicate it is to break through.
I love it. Breakthrough is your word. My word for the year is intention. And really, it's because for those of you that work with us, you got our gift, that journal that allows you to wake up and start your day with intention, end your day with intention, the 5-minute gratitude journal, which is fantastic. And that is, I've done yoga before. And at the start of every yoga practice, they tell you, set an intention for your practice. So that word intention, everything I do, there's got to be an intention behind it. If I'm doing anything without intention, it's a waste of time, or I'm not putting my full self into it. So I want to make sure that everything that happens this year, there is an intention set in the beginning of it. I take the time to sit down and say, hey, what's my intention for this huddle? What are we trying to deliver? What am I trying to accomplish? Every single thing we do will have an intention this year.
What's interesting is that was my 2020 word. Was intention. And because I really wanted to pick some direction. I had spent 5 or 6 years just kind of floating and letting the world.
What a year to have intention be your word, by the way. The pandemic struck.
Wow. It was, I needed some direction. It was great.
Yeah.
It really worked out great. One of the things I really love, though, is that we laminate it and I carry it with me all the time. Shout out to Casey Sherwin, who this morning shared his word from last year, which he physicalized. It was discipline, and he did it in a video, man. Wow.
Awesome stuff. Love to see that. Like, and him and I had talked last year about like, what were some of the pillars that we were going to move into this year on, and to see him start the year with a video out in social. Fantastic stuff. Super proud of you, Casey.
So in addition to the word and the feeling and all of the tools, got to have a song. Last year, this was the song we used, and it is exactly the song that
tradition. It's tradition at
2023. Let's go.
There's so much going on, it's crazy. Trouble all around. and do some funky changes. Changes are the same. We like the joy, but we can't really stand the pain. I'm just happy to see you and me back in the stride again. I'm so happy to see you and me back in the stride again.
Woo!
We are back in stride again.
We are totally. Even Jake said to me, he goes, yesterday was a great start to the year for us. You know, we used that day for us and just really dug deep. I thought you did a great outline. And what I want to share with people is we basically went over the whole year in how many minutes?
80 minutes, baby.
And it's bang, bang.
That was it. I mean, we did a lot. We accomplished a lot in 80 minutes. And I think, you know, this wasn't on the docket to talk about, but that's one of the things I think for people to focus on in 2023 is efficiency of meetings. Like, you know, Gary Vee put out a video about it, about having 7-minute meetings and 10-minute meetings and 15-minute meetings, obviously, which we've talked about, 15-minute virtual cups of coffee. But to me, efficiency of meetings, and stop thinking that you have to work in either 30 or 60-minute blocks. Like, that was a master session. I think people block off a whole day for, or half a day for. We got it done in 80 minutes, got in, got out, and was ready to go attack the year. It's good stuff.
What would you say the reason why it was so efficient? I'm curious.
Preparation. I think
Sure.
everybody came in prepared. You know, there were things circulated prior, so everybody had an opportunity to think about and marinate on it. It wasn't like we were walking in with a blank canvas. So that preparation, but then the agenda, because as you dive into topic, it's easy to get lost on the other things that you wanted to get done. That agenda allowed us to go back and say, okay, great, check that. What was the next thing we wanted to talk about? What haven't we hit yet? Are we clear on everything?
Awesome. Love it. So we're definitely going overtime today because I got way too much content.
Oh, it's a great show already.
Okay. So it's Happy New Year. And when it's Happy New Year, right, it's actually day 3 of the new year, you gotta listen to Larry David.
Randy.
You got it.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of Susie's.
I know, yeah.
Happy New Year.
It's a little late, frankly, for the Happy New Year's, you know?
Why? Just happened a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that's too long. Statute of limitations is kind of run out on the New Year's. 3 days. Plenty.
3 days.
That's the best. It is the best.
Tomorrow, you can't say Happy New Year to people.
I disagree. I think you have 2 weeks. I think if in the first 2 weeks of the year, everybody that you see for the first time is a Happy New Year.
Right.
Once you extend beyond that first 2 weeks, like, move on. I saw you. I'm sure you had a Happy New Year. If you didn't, that's okay. We're already into 2023. Let's go already.
So for me, it's a month. The month of January is Happy New Year month. Like, I don't think you should be saying it in February, but like, there are some speaking engagements I have in January. You know, I'm going to be up in Orlando speaking. I'm definitely going to say, hey, Happy New Year to everybody there. You know?
Right. Like, if I see somebody on like January 26th and they're like, Happy New Year, I'm going to ask them, what have you been doing the last 3 weeks? Where you been? What's going on with you?
Unbelievable. So
I love it. Jake Atari says 3 days, waste of words. I love it.
All right. So I'm doing my own thing on this one. I'm going out on a limb. I'm just
Jonathan Aarons, thank you for that. Right? Like 1000%. If you have people that you know you want to get a Happy New Year to, you should have blocked 30 minutes on your calendar to send videos to all those people. Nothing more than a 45-second video of saying, Happy New Year. When are we getting together? What's going on? What's the new thing that's coming? But like, get it out of the way and get it in people's inboxes so that when you see them, you don't have to say it.
Oh, there's Jake with a clever one. I hope you're having a good new year.
The good use of the words. I like that.
Use of the words. I like that. So anyway, if that's the reason to reach out to somebody, to your point, get your ass in gear, reach out to them, or just ask them, hey, what's your word of the year?
Yeah.
You know what? If they have one, they'll be able to shoot it right back at you. If they don't, then you can have a conversation about how that exercise has helped you and all that.
If you are struggling with a reason to reach out to somebody at this time of the year, you and I should have a conversation, because there's no reason to be struggling right now with how to reach out to somebody.
Well, people are gonna, do well, I'm lazy, I'm tired, I have the hangover from the holidays. Get lost.
Right. Oh, I gotta get
Look
caught
who's
up.
back. Look who's back.
Dave Stavali. Good to see you, Dave.
Great to see what the new year brings out. Okay, so New Year's, we have, all of this new energy, new tools, new stuff, whether you say Happy New Year or not. There's this thing about resolutions, which I think resolutions are bullshit. The gyms are really busy in January. They're empty in February. But I have made some commitments that I'd like to see through. One of them is I would like to start playing pickleball. Pickleball's all over the place, but Shay's jumping the gun.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you know that I'm doing homework on pickleball, and the biggest rage of all now is nude pickleball.
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Like in this picture, like the people that are playing nude pickleball, like it'd be one thing if like you told me that it was full of like fitness influencers that are playing nude pickleball. Like, all right, it's like, sculptures out there playing a game. We're watching like 75-year-old people play nude pickleball. No thanks.
Mike Sullivan is a USA pickleball ambassador and a resident of Cypress Cove Nudist Resort in Kissimmee, Florida. I do not want to be nude in Kissimmee.
For those of you that are not familiar with the state of Florida, things that go on in Central Florida stay in Central Florida. Stay at that middle part of the state, not the East Coast where Orlando is, not the West Coast where Tampa is. Kissimmee and like, the villages, that area, I'm staying out of that area.
Totally crazy. To close us out today, there's a phenomenon. I'm one of the people who embrace this. It's called dry January, and so like everything else, I do homework. And wouldn't you know that in the homework, Google Trends data suggest sobriety was a popular search for term in 22. It was one of the most popular search terms about people who are deciding to go sober. Now, I do it in January for a couple of reasons. It kind of is a cleanse for me to clean out what's happened between Thanksgiving and the end of the year. I lose weight, I feel better. But the reality is, it could be a cool lifestyle. Thoughts, comments?
Yeah.
Resolution?
Yeah. To me, I don't want to be dry. I don't want to never have a taste of alcohol. So to me, it's more about moderation, right? And it's understanding I want to have 2 days. And I had this conversation. So I'm working with a dietitian, a guy who used to be a former fitness, performer or whatever, one of like those bodybuilder type dudes. He's working with me on my diet to know exactly what to eat and how to eat it. And we had a whole conversation about it. But I asked him, I said, what about drinking? He goes, it depends. He goes, what's the goal? What are you really trying to do? Are you trying to be 4% body fat? He goes, then you can't have a drink. But if you're trying to live between 12 and 8% body fat, then it's about what are you drinking and how often are you drinking? And he goes, when you decide to drink, you should go straight liquor or wine, stay away from beer, stay away from carbonated drinks that have the extra calories, and stay away from anything that has any other additives in it. And so it was a great, he's like, you could have a glass of wine every night if you wanted to, and you're still going to see unbelievable results. He goes, you just can't have 3 glasses of wine every night, and you can't be adding in all of the other things to mix with it. So to me, it's not about being sober. I enjoy a glass of wine. I enjoy something, but it depends on what your goals are.
So I love that. For me, and it'll be a topic that we talk a lot about in first quarter, is setting the proper boundaries. I'm in or out. I don't know how to live in gray. There's no middle for me.
You don't know how to have moderation.
Well, if I'm drinking, same way. Listen, man, the people used to look at me as like they said, dude, you're the best prospector I've ever seen in my life because I'm all in, man. There is no middle. There is no, I'm going to do 2 or 3.
Right.
I'm just like going. I do that with everything in my life. This is a situation where at my age, the health, what it does to my health can be really detrimental. So, got to be careful, got to
So
cut
it's
it
interesting.
back.
That article about sobriety mentioned how the millennial generation and the generations after are starting to move further and further away from alcohol rather than generations prior to them, which I think is just it's because of the information available to them, right? Like my experience in college, very different, not very different, but different than Jake's. The generation that will come after Jake's will be different because there's just more information, there's more knowledge, and it's more widespread.
More people smoking pot.
Well, you know what? It turns out that it's not a gateway drug that leads you to heroin, which is what your generation was told to believe. So again, as information continues to come out, like you sent me that video about saunas, right?
Yeah.
Like that information didn't exist 20 years ago. So everybody was hot or cold on saunas, but turns out it significantly decreases the likelihood of cardiac arrest, of diabetes, of all these other diseases. So as information comes out, you should pay attention to it.
Awesome. So for me, it's off to a flying start. Health is top of my list. Getting back into business.
Guitar. The new generation is into pills and weed. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yes. Who knows what he'll be influenced by that morning?
I love it.
Anyway, what an awesome start. Welcome back to you. Thanks for a great holiday. Congratulations to all of us. Congratulations to everybody for showing back up. It was great to see the same faces. We'll be back again tomorrow. It's Wednesday, so you get a little dose of Jake Nudelberg tomorrow.
Let's go.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.